and today we are talking about the RWBY pantheon and the spheres of their influence, but specifically the influence of our goddess Neopolitan. Listen, just hear me out on this, alright? This video is mostly a joke, but like, it's mostly, remember, I don't know if you guys remember, but a long time ago, Hunter was like, it's good that you make videos on the internet, Cal, because in another life, you would have definitely turned out to be a dictator or like the leader of a cult. So I think that that's kind of the motion we're going
Evil
for today,
scientist.
is I'm going to explain the cult of Neopolitan. You can imagine this in the real world if you want to, but this is supposed to be sort of more so like established in Remnant sometime after the defeat of Salem. That after Team RWBY dies and everything, like naturally, like everybody naturally passes away, the people of Remnant sort of start to skew the heroes of the— Are you yawning during my explanation?
No, I'm not. Continue. No, continue,
okay.
please.
Anyway, so
Be merciful.
pray to Blake for that, alright? So the people of Remnant start to see the heroes of the story as gods instead of actually remembering them as people, as real people who fought against Salem. And the heroes were glorified into gods who defeated the evil goddess of Grimm long ago, who wanted to destroy the world and black out the sun and plunge the world into eternal darkness. So for example, RWBY is the goddess of light and simpler, more honest souls. So like children and like the innocent. Weiss is the goddess of commerce, merchants, and fair trade. Fair being the very important word there. Blake is the goddess of the overlooked, the people overlooked in the shadows of Faunus, mercy, and charity. Yang is the goddess of adventurers who travel and forge connections outside of their born kingdoms, and she basically like looks over those outside of the kingdom's walls, because there are still Grimm to fight, I guess. And like there's, you know, sea and death and sickness and law and order. Like, you know, your Aphrodites and
Crow for drinking?
No!
I'd pray to Crow.
He's the god of misfortune.
I see.
Probably. I don't know why you would pray to him exactly, but like maybe to make the misfortune not come to you, right? And so there are other characters that you can sort of slot in this roles. Like I toyed around with the idea of maybe—
Oscar could be agriculture?
Yeah, agriculture. I sort of toyed also with like Pyrrha being like the goddess of love because she sacrificed her life for her friends, and kind of Jean in a way, like I don't know. So I was toying around with some of those, but we don't need to worry about all that right now. But we aren't here to talk about those bitches, okay? We're here to talk about my bitches. And that is the Church of Neopolitan, the triple deity. Neopolitan is the voiceless protector, the thief watcher, the deceiver, and then when taken from Loch Lamore because I think it's funny, the mother of necessary pretexts.
We grew up Catholic. You just reinvented the Trinity.
I know, and I didn't realize that, but yeah, I guess I did, okay? But also, like, Hecate is like that, too. Neopolitan is made up of 3 distinct forms. Trivia is the protector of the people oppressed and outcasted by society, so those with disabilities or even those who are seen as eccentric and odd. Neo is the protector of thieves and rogues, the personification of trickery and illusions. And there is a third, kind of like the vanille, right? Because Neo is the strawberry, right?
You were really reaching for
Neo's
this Trinity, weren't you?
Trivia is technically the chocolate, like she has the all brown hair in the book. And so there's a third vanilla situation, and that is the white-eyed form, which is the bender of boundaries and upholder of freedom, being able to travel between worlds, both figuratively and literally. In terms of the white-eyed form, this is based on the white streak after Neopolitan kills her parents in the RWBY novels and escape. It's the form which makes the balance possible for the other two. So like vanille is like the conduit for the other two to also exist. So they all exist in sort of combination. So she has the power of free forms and free faces, which is like Hecate. So
I just like how you described one of like the Trinity as the chocolate one. So now I want to figure out in like the traditional Christian Trinity which one is the chocolate one.
But like,
is Jesus the chocolate one? God would be like the vanilla because he has the white hair, and then the Holy Spirit would be strawberry because no one really understands why it's there.
Oh my god.
I think that's a great system.
This is kind of blasphemous.
Oh,
anyway.
This is blasphemous? This is blasphemous. Hi, do you want to hear about our Lord and Savior, Neopolitan? Everything about this this is blasphemous.
So the essence of the Church of Neopolitan revolves around the life of Neopolitan before, during, and after Roman Torchwick. So obviously, as the people of Remnant sort of retold this story, it became a little bit more fantastical. Like, it was kind of like Greek god, like Hercules myth situation, right? And so the story begins with a girl who was mistreated for being unable to speak and awakens the power of free forms and free faces. And through this, she is able to gain freedom. This is the basis for trivia as the protector of the oppressed. And then there are accounts of Neo's adventures with Roman, which serves as the basis for Neo being like the patron of thieves. And the white-eyed form, the Vanille, is the conduit between the two sides. Despite the harm her parents brought onto her, without any of these things going on as they did, like basically if like her life was any different, she would have never become the person that she turned into and unlocked the power.
I see.
Right? So that's why the Vanille part is still important, because it was the basis for all of this happening in the first place, even though it wasn't good. A little like, sometimes you gotta suffer a little bit, I guess.
Yeah,
like,
you need to have Old Testament crazy guy before you have New Testament chill god.
So that's kind of the vibe, right? There are many stories about the adventures of Neopolitan and her encounters with the other gods. Since we don't know what happens to Neo in Volume 9 for us, where the story kind of ends at the moment is unclear, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I made a couple different options. Either Neopolitan was said to wander the world endlessly without Roman Torchwick, trying to find her partner alive despite all of the certainty that he was dead. So that's option 1. So that's how the story would end in Remnant. They don't know that Neo tried to take revenge on RWBY. The second option is that Neopolitan went on her quest of revenge, but gave up her hatred towards the goddess of light and redirected her grief into killing the false maiden, which is part of the other mythology.
Which would be Cinder.
Yes.
I see.
Or after her feelings of vengeance were quelled by the goddess of light, she continued on living for herself in some other capacity. This could be staying in the realm of the ever after, where she watches over the followers of Neopolitan from a giant tree in its center. So those are like, depending on how Volume 9 ends, you have some options.
I love a religion that isn't precise about anything.
Well, no, it's precise in the world of Remnant.
Yes.
I'm just saying for us,
you don't know how it
since
ends.
we don't know how Volume 9 ends yet, I wanted to present some alternatives.
So, like,
it is unclear how exactly the priestesses of the church discovered Neopolitan's story and values. However, it is believed that she wrote them in the form of a storybook and gave this to the goddess of light before they left the ever after. So that's if Neo stays in the ever after, right? Or it ended up on Remnant through some other similar means. The text, written in the form of a fairy tale, showcases how the members of the church should live. The symbol Neo has, the tricolored pendant, is worn by all followers of the church in some capacity, which is this. Just this part, not the ice cream
So you're
cone.
dressed as what is basically the priestess of Neopolitan.
I guess. This is a little too casual.
Is the dyed hair, the split dyed hair part?
Well,
of
actually,
religious
we'll get
practices?
to that. The core teaching of the church is that everyone has the power of free inside of them, but it has not awakened yet. We all have a trivia and a Neo, and we must bring them into balance to become like Neopolitan. The priestess helps give new members guidance on how to identify and name their alter egos, and create a new name that you feel is best representative of these sides of yourself joining together. They are there to help you decide who you want to become and outline what you want to achieve in your life. So it's not like that you have to do something specific. They're just there to help you do what you want. If you want to be an accountant, you know, they're gonna help you.
You're gonna be the sassiest little serial killer, split-haired, dyed-hair accountant you can be.
Exactly. For the name-choosing ceremony, followers meditate while watching a burning candle. When the candle burns out, they will arrive at their decision. A reference to a candle's flame brought a brand new name. The candle is lit for Roman Torchwick, the companion of Neopolitan who she had lost. You are calling upon Roman to help you in your time of need as he helped her.
Oh, so he's the burning candle.
Yes. Additionally, followers are not required to follow the Neopolitan colors, since the whole point is finding their own identity. However, the church itself is designed with these colors in mind, and the priestesses wear these colors while they are practicing in an official capacity. However, they wear whatever they want when they are not performing official duties. When you are figuring out your own 3 identities, you are encouraged to select 3 different colors you believe best represents these identities and put them together with the help of a priestess. These will be the additional colors on your additional pendant. So basically you get one like this, but then you also get another one. Like if you're imagining a necklace, it's like on the front it's Neo and then on the back it's the other color. Okay. So it's a kind of like a necklace that you could flip around.
I see.
Yes. I put a lot of thought into this, Hunter.
You really
seem a little surprised.
No, it's not. It's just like you say your 3 identities, and I'm like, I understand that you have have 3 identities, but the rest of us tend to only have
Well,
one.
the
That's
identity
that's
you
a
have
persona.
here right now,
That's a
you have
persona.
your persona when you're recording these videos, and then you go home and talk to your family, and those 2 people are different. Or when people go
No,
to
I'm
work,
pretty consistent.
you know what I mean? Like,
No, I
you're
got
more
it.
shy
Okay,
or something. So
okay.
I'm just saying, like, when
Okay.
people go to work, sometimes they have a different persona than when they're at home. We all have personas.
I guess there's
we all
just
have
a
alter
difference, but-
egos. We just don't name them those things.
Okay, I guess I just have a differentiation between identities and personas. Fair enough, continue. I understand. I understand the nomenclature.
This is another important aspect of the church. The priestesses are there to be relied on heavily. They are meant to be the guidance or family that Neopolitan wishes she had as a child. You choose which priestess you think can best assist you based on their biographies, and they become your partner on your spiritual journey.
So you have to
get a
scroll
little
down,
book,
okay,
like
to
a
the
little flip book, and
to
you know.
their personal life section of their
Yeah,
Wikipedia
basically,
page.
sort of. Like, they all have little pictures, and
Okay.
you know, they have, like, personal information about them, and then you can, like, kind of pick who you think would best help you, depending on what you're
Sure,
doing there,
I
like,
dig
what
it.
you want to do. You know what I'm
Sure.
saying? It's like artists, right? You would study under an artist because you want to be an artist. It's the kind of, you know,
This
like
is
that.
like airing into Scientology.
Really? I don't know. I don't know anything about that, okay? Anyway, let's keep going. Some of the core beliefs are, you must be true to your own desires above all else without any shame. It is better to live free than suffer oppression. You do not allow others to mistreat you or other people that are outcasted as you are. Turning a blind eye to the pain of the oppressed makes you as bad as those who mistreated Neopolitan. People in positions of power do not deserve your empathy. Treating people kindly only goes as far as the people that deserve kindness. Kindness is for the oppressed, not to the oppressors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah? What's
Okay.
wrong with that?
Okay.
There's no treat others the way you want to be treated
Okay,
bullshit
okay,
here,
but
okay?
wouldn't a priestess be a person in position of power? You don't owe any position of authority respect.
Yes,
Based
yes.
purely on their authority, it needs to be owned and continuously challenged. And,
Yes,
and
I
justified.
agree with that.
And if they act immorally, then you have a moral
I
right
would also...
as a follower of the Church of Neopolitan.
Yes.
And the latter-day parasols to throw them or disregard them or destroy them.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
That's
I would
fair,
also
okay.
say, like, additionally, I don't think that the priestess are supposed to hold power over you. They're there to
see.
help you.
I
It's
see.
like how...
They're non-binding advice.
Yeah, it's kind
Sure.
of like how, you know, at school we say, like, we're not teacher and student, we're colleagues. We're just colleagues that have different sets of experiences.
I
That's
see.
kind of the vibe, too. Okay?
Fair enough.
Laws are meant to be broken. That's from
Didn't you just-
Liza Locke.
Didn't you just say
Yeah.
that, like, here are the rules you need to follow?
The law! This isn't a law. These are
well,
like...
they're religious law.
But, like, they're like
So
the
you need to
beliefs.
specify secular law.
Yes. Secular law.
So you can jaywalk as much as you want.
Exactly.
Jaywalking is a
And
tenet
these aren't
of the
even
Church of
necessarily
Neopolitan.
like, these aren't rules as much as they're like, you know, if you cannot do these things if you want, but Neo may not be happy about it.
I mean,
Like,
that's
you know
true with
what I
every
mean?
religion.
Yeah, but like, it's not necessarily like the priestess are gonna hunt you down if you break a
Okay,
rule. It's more so
sure.
that like if you don't want
There's
to
no
incur
morality
the wrath.
police.
Yeah,
There's
like
no
it's more so
Neopolitan
you're afraid of
morality
Neo for
police.
the
Okay.
sake of being afraid of Neo, kind of like Zeus. You know what I mean? You don't want to piss off Zeus, right? Just because, not because of the Zeus police, just because of
You don't want
Zeus
to piss
himself.
off Zeus. He might go down
Exactly.
and, like, sleep with your wife.
Yeah. 1 lien in 10 belongs to Neopolitan. This can be given directly to the church, however, there are other ways to execute this rule, such as burning the lien underneath the candle's flame or throwing it into the sea. It is not about giving lien to the church, but rather giving up your own money to a place where you cannot get it back.
Followers of the religion light their money on fire.
Yes! If they don't want to give it to the church, this is because I don't like the idea of like, you must give us your
I
money,
see.
right? So it's kind of like, no, it's not about giving them your money, it's about kind of sacrifice. You have to give it up. It's like, you have to
Sure.
give it up in some way.
No, but one
If
ten
you make
and
$100,
you have
that'd
to
be
give away
$10.
10. Yeah.
I
That's 10% of your income.
That's from the Lies of Locke Lamora. That's the rule that they used.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know what to tell you. This
Percent.
may be where we have to hash out the money system.
Okay.
But like, in Lies of Locke Lamora, they use coins. So I don't know if by one coin they meant like 25 cents or if they meant $1. I think it's easier if it's $1. Also,
1 in 100.
This is
sorry.
the Church of the Thieves. You don't gotta go here, alright? So, like, you know what I mean?
No one would like the people in this religion. They would be like, they're fucking menaces. They don't follow the law.
That's kind
They're
of...
jerks. They light a tenth of their money on
The
fire.
reason why I got this idea was from the Lies of Locke Lamora. And so basically in
Which
the
is
book...
a novel.
Which is a novel. And so they have the 12th. And the Crooked Warden is the god of the thieves.
Okay.
And he's the 13th. He's like, kind of like, that's the religion that
Unofficial,
thieves follow,
okay.
right? So it's kind of I don't want to say unofficial, but yeah, you're right. People would think that the Crooked Warden followers are a menace to society.
And people would
right?
think that the neo-religion
Yeah,
menaces to... Okay,
basically.
at least we're acknowledging it.
Though the world is full of people to distrust, trust in your brothers and sisters in the faith. Live by your wits, not by your blade. An expansion of that, on violence. The church accepts that Neopolitan committed a little violence. However,
She committed a lot of violence. She was a professional
values
criminal.
personal gain from wit and skill above simply threatening people with weapons.
Oh.
Similar to the Lies of Locke Lamora, many followers live for the thrills of thieving, con games, and gambling, but the best crimes are the ones that go undiscovered.
The best crimes are the one that go undiscovered?
Money may be the goal of certain confidence schemes, but a true follower of Neopolitan knows that money itself is not the goal, since Neopolitan as a child lived with money. It is the ability to use your cunning to get the things you want for yourself, and that money is the means to happiness and freedom in an unfortunate capitalist society.
You're pure chaos.
Individuality, freedom from oppression, and the ability to create your own fortune are the key aspects here. Before having a meal, you are meant to make a small plate for Neopolitan to put on an altar. In addition, there is another level to the church which teaches people how to be thieves.
Oh,
This-
so like vocational training.
Yeah, this opportunity is only provided to those who express interest or have other potential. The church also has an understanding with the city law enforcement and huntsmen. Followers of the church are protected under the laws of sanctuary and cannot be arrested if they are inside the walls of the church. Additionally, followers of Neopolitan do not steal from law enforcement or the huntsmen or huntresses.
Well, then what if but you don't have to follow the laws.
Don't steal from, like, you know, just a huntsman. Like, you know in the book that Roman steals from some kid on the street and, like, steals from some grandma after helping her cross the street? It's sort of like, don't steal from, like, random huntsmen or huntresses that aren't doing anything to you, because that kind of breaks the secret peace. You know what I mean? Right?
Terrorize people who deserve it.
Exactly.
I
If
see.
a member of the church is caught in...
Alternatively, you could just have this be a secret society so you don't have to worry about
Right, but like, no. If a member of the church is caught in the act with multiple witnesses, there's no getting around that, but many members of the kingdom's police force will pretend to have not seen anything if they are alone. This is because the church pays off the law enforcement in the area.
What?
What do you mean?
That's okay. This is okay. I feel bad for the future of Remnant. Shit is incredibly corrupt there. You can just pay off the police
But-
force.
In Mistral, that was already
I
happening
guess
with the
so.
spiders,
I
right?
guess so.
It's really not that any different, like, than
Okay.
what already was
So I'm
happening.
guessing this religion is more popular in Mistral.
Yeah, probably, but they're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
It's a global
You always
brand.
need thieves, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like thieves are the backbone of society. The police aren't just leaving them alone because they're paying off the police. It's also because there are rumors of people that have crossed the goddess. And like whether it's true or not, like there are rumors of Neopolitan exerting her wrath on the law. While Neopolitan will grant aid to those who ask, true believers of Neopolitan know that they need to help themselves versus rely on her to bail them out. However, there is a little prayer here that I wrote. Grant me the face of the innocent when my face is one that is guilty. Grant me the face of the known guilty when those underestimate the face of the innocent. Grant me the face of the unremarkable when my face is that of the known. Bestow onto me the power of 3. And that's like if you're in trouble and like you're running away, that's what you want to say. That's like your little prayer. You want the face of the innocent when your face looks guilty, the face of the guilty when somebody is like talking down to you because they think you're too innocent to fight back, and the face of the unremarkable when people recognize you. What are you looking at me like that for? Look at them, don't look at me. I like it. I don't know what's wrong with it.
Not a damn thing.
During their initiation, followers take an 18-day vow of silence to represent how Neopolitan lived 18 years without being heard. Priestesses, however, vow themselves to lifelong silence and do not speak.
So they do it via text or via sign language?
In addition, there is no singing in the church or speaking. Teachings are delivered by the priestess through sign and body language, but can be read along with for new members that are not yet familiar. There is music played, but it is not vocal
So it's
music.
like interpretive dance.
No! Not like that, they sign it.
Sure.
Right, it's all signed.
But you also said body language.
Yeah, but that's more
Okay.
facial expression and the stuff that Neo does in the show. While anyone can be a member, male-presenting people cannot take up the role of the priestess. This is to prevent patriarchal ideas from being part of the identity-building process. So you can join...
There's some plenty patriarchal women out there.
Right,
They
but
just wouldn't be attracted to this gig. You know?
Yeah,
Fair
yeah.
enough.
You know, it's a preventative measure. It's kind of also probably stemming from the fact that, like, Neo's dad was really the one who wanted to tell her what to do all the time. And so there
Okay.
is none of that. So it's trying to avoid that, I think.
Okay.
Certain symbolism of having, like, a male priest who's a little older that would give advice, but, like, I don't know, like, it kind of goes into the weird territory of, like, well, my dad told me what to do all the time, and he didn't know what I wanted, right? So I think it's like...
No boys
you know,
allowed, I take it.
Yeah, but you can be a male member. You can
Yes.
join
You just can't
as,
be a
but you
priestess.
can't do the priest
I see.
activity. Yeah, basically. There's a feast day where followers celebrate the day of Neopolitan's freedom and perform certain rituals leading up to that day using the events of the book, basically. For example, for the burning of Neopolitan's home, followers are asked to bring in a personal item that brings them pain in some way and burn it in order to let it go.
Knowing how insane this was, I thought that you were going to be like, followers are encouraged to commit arson in someone's private
but
property.
it's like, I don't know, like say there was a picture of me with someone and that person was like no longer in my life anymore and like that
Sure.
person really hurt me. I would bring in the picture to burn it. There are a few other events based on the story of Neopolitan. To represent the shoplifting spree, followers are asked to acquire something for themselves they feel is representative of their new identity, but it does not need to be stolen. It simply needs to be acquired. On marriage, it is actually encouraged to find a partner outside of the church. It's important to note that none of these churches are monotheistic. You can theoretically worship Neopolitan and Wyson at all the other churches at the same time because it's like Greek gods. They all represent different things. Like just because you go over and like pray to the Oscar because you want your crops to grow, it doesn't mean that you can't also
Neopolitans
pray to Neo.
won't
Like
be
they
upset.
all have
I
different
see.
the spheres of their influence, right?
Yes.
So as long as you're not going to a competing god, it doesn't really matter. However, like in terms of the marriage thing, the way I thought of this was the worshippers of Neopolitan go through a lot more identity-based rituals compared to the other churches where you may just
Okay.
stop by and like, you know, give Oscar some corn, like or something. I'm using Oscar because I guess he's just the example now. Like,
what would you
if-
give Weiss?
I think for Weiss, you'd probably give her again, like some of your earnings. Like that's probably
Okay.
what she'd ask for. Or something if you're a merchant, like and you're selling fur, you would
Okay.
give her
Your
a
produce.
Neo's not gonna be offended
I
by
like
that.
it
And there's
that
no
Oscar
identity.
only wants corn.
Corn or carrots or whatever. And like there's
Potatoes.
no identity thing with that. Like you just
Yes,
kind of visit
okay.
once a year and you go and it's whatever, right? But like with Neo, it's like there's a whole identity based process. In contrast to other real-world religions that want you to marry within the church, the whole point is that someone will accept you as you are, even if you are different, like somebody who doesn't inherently understand you. If you understand too much about Neopolitan and how the church operates, the effect will not be present. So basically, you're trying to find the Roman Torchwick to your Neo, someone who doesn't inherently understand you, but tries their best and does
So
anyway.
Fox X Neo is not an official part of this
No,
religion.
it's not. Speaking of Roman Torchwick, there is a day of mourning for Roman's death. It is also a day of gratitude for the people in our lives that we may never know when we will lose them. So, you know, there are different sort of rituals that go along with
Yeah.
that. Like gifting stuff to your friends and, you know, just remembering Roman. Kind of a
Remember to-
mourning, like grief celebration of life.
In the end of the day, you need to
situation.
do something that represents cheating, stealing,
Oh my god.
surviving.
Like I said, a lot of this was kind of inspired by the lives of Loch Lamora, but I kind of fuck with it, you know? So do you have any questions, Hunter?
So is RWBY, because Roman died via Salem, is Salem considered like the Satan of these religions?
There's not really a Satan as much as
Because
Salem
if-
is kind of
because
like
if
the
the stories-
Kronos of the situation. Like Salem
The
is
bad guy.
kind of the bad guy in the situation.
But not like the ultimate evil, like
No, but they
Just the
defeated
bad
her,
guy.
right?
Yeah.
So I don't know, like, listen, I don't know a lot about Greek religion, but I'm assuming, like, they weren't too worried about the Titan Man because Zeus put him away. That was the whole point, right? So it wasn't like if you got sent to hell, you were getting sent to the Titan Man or something, right?
Sure.
Like, Hades was just Hades, and, like, death was just a part of life versus there was some evil, and if you acted bad, Satan would come get you. Like, there's none of that.
Okay.
Salem was evil and lived and died. And so in order to kind of keep Salem at bay ever still, you pray to you make sure to respect the gods who helped defeat her.
So, like, do practitioners, what does, like, the parasol get in? Because the colors are important, but, like, the parasol weirdly isn't.
Well...
So do followers have to, like, carry a parasol?
I mentioned this earlier, but, like, the parasol being stolen during the shoplifting spree, that's part of, like, the ritual of, like, you have to take something for yourself. Like, for Neo, it was the parasol. I feel like that followers would probably have their own parasol and their own colors, but it would be a fashion trend more so. I don't know, like, it would just be something everyone kind of has. It wouldn't be a requirement. It would kind of just be like, yeah, we all want one. Like, it would be of that they know about that, and so they would get one in their own colors to be a functional umbrella, not to necessarily be a weapon. But I do think for the thieving society, a lot of them probably do use the parasol because that's how Neo was taught. And all the thieving society, like, they're all taught all of the stuff that Neo was taught in Roman holiday. Because we're still relying on, like, a pagan sort of pantheon situation, there is no, like, sinning and going to hell. Like, that's a very, like, I think, to some degree...
So there's no notion of the afterlife?
No, there's still afterlife, but it's more like the afterlife is something that happens to you. It's not...
something you control?
Yeah, it's not something that, like, you're gonna get a punishment when you die if you didn't follow, like, the beliefs of Neo, right? Like, I don't know, because I feel like, so it's sort of, I think all of them are very much in the present. The only one that would have anything to really do with death is if we do make Penny, like, sort of the person that guides you to your death, and you would just kind of, like, you would bring her little human things to make her happy, I think. That's what you would bring to her, like a kind of Ariel sort of situation. You would just bring her little gifts so you have a peaceful death, but it's not like you're gonna go to hell if you don't pray to Penny.
So it's the equivalent of, like, putting coins over your eyes.
Yeah, something like that. Like, you would bring Penny, like, say, yearly or something. You would go to the Temple of Penny and bring her something that you think that she would enjoy.
Are you familiar with Scientology?
No. Like, not really.
So it's this bizarre cult that was written and created by a science fiction author named L. Ron Hubbard.
Right.
And now has, like, followers all around the world.
Okay. Can I do that?
I think you could do that.
This is copyrighted.
This is copyrighted.
I think Rooster Teeth would be a little mad.
I think, you could convince them.
Really?
Scientologists make a lot of money. They could, they're in tough financial straits right now. Like, you could convince them.
I mean, I think the general aspects, like, when does something stop?
I think we could stand to make a lot of money.
When does something stop becoming a personal philosophy and be a religion? When multiple people just start to follow it, right?
Yeah. And it stops being a cult when it gains enough mainstream acceptance.
And so it would probably still be a cult.
Yes, in our lifetime.
But if this was theoretically something in the real world, okay, I'd probably the thieving part would have to, get adjusted a little bit. I don't know if it's legal to go and teach people how to be thieves, right? But, like, I think that the part about, like, finding those identities of yourself, I think that that's nice. I don't think that there's anything malicious about that, because nobody is telling you how to live. They're just trying to help you figure it out.
Sure.
Like, okay, so this is kind of a random example, but I remember that a long time ago, I read, like, The Alter Ego by
it was only, like, a year or two
I don't know,
ago.
It was a long time, I can't remember.
It really wasn't.
But, like, yeah, and so, like, he kind of talked about this idea that, like, when people are, like, sports players and stuff, they have, like, a persona that they bring to work and whatever. And so we talked about, like, how you can develop your alter ego and everything. Not, like, in a dissociative way, but like, in a way to make you feel powerful, that you can sort of drop into another... you can drop into another side of yourself, I guess.
Sure.
Right? And so I was kind of like, okay, like, I kind of like that. Like, I kind of agree with that. And, like, you guys don't know know the entire context yet, but I do have kind of a plan to have these VTuber models, and the VTuber models are also kind of like that. They're supposed to be different personifications of me, and I will be playing all of them at the same time, which hasn't happened yet, obviously, but like, I feel like that, you know, if this was a thing in real life, I would probably, you know, that's what I would use as the basis.
So developing
VTuber
multiple
models.
personas for different parts of your life is an official practice of the religion.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Well, you know, Cal, I'm glad to have witnessed the birth of your cult.
Yeah?
And I think we should post
there
this
anything
online.
else?
You know how, like, so about Mormons, right?
Right,
There's
right.
an overroaming joke about Mormons is that their beliefs are, like, kind of mental. Like,
Yeah.
if you actually learn, like, the things they believe, and, like, it's very deeply strange.
Do you think this is mental? I think that this makes a lot of sense.
It's a religion based off a fictitious character from an American anime.
I know,
It's a little
I'm
mental.
just saying.
But the thing is that most people are forgiving of Mormons because they're so goddamn pleasant.
Right,
and
right.
nice. And, like, they're, like, very dedicated. So it makes people want to, like, join the religion.
Right, right.
Just based off of how, like, oh, these guys look swell.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gullible as hell. So I'm thinking we need to develop that out. Like, there needs to be something like de rigueur. Like,
right.
to be a member of Neopolitan, you need to, like, embody a kind of coolness.
Yes,
Or something
yes.
that people would like, so people would want to join
Charm,
the club.
right?
Yeah.
But
and the reason why people joined Scientology was the whole notion that, like, oh, well, like, Tom Cruise is in it, like, all these successful people, there must be
Yeah.
something to that.
I think,
Same diff.
in terms of this, because it is kind of like the 13, like, you know, I
Yeah.
do like the idea. There's obviously more than 13 RWBY characters that would be included in the pantheon, because already, just with Ruby and Juniper, you already have 8. So it would be pretty, but I'm saying in terms of, like, in the case of Remnant, this would be kind of like, you gotta know someone, or you have to kind of, like, you're an orphan and you kind of seek them out, you know to go seek them out. So it would kind of be like, word of mouth would probably spread more through that way compared to, like, you know, missionary. I don't
Sure.
feel like the
There
whole
wouldn't be
point,
missionary
there
work.
wouldn't be any missionaries.
But
the
it's like
whole
the
point
idea
is
is
that
that-
Neo calls to you
that
and you
people-
answer
But
the
that
call.
people would look at the Neo people and be like, shit, they gotta figure it out. I want to join the
yeah,
team. So there need to
exactly.
be... Okay,
they
so
would be
who's...
viewed from afar, but they would not, like, they wouldn't
I
go
see.
on a missionary thing, because that defeats the whole purpose. The whole point is that there's something
Figuring
in
yourself
your
out.
heart that makes you want to seek them out because you think that they can sort of help you, right?
That's the unfortunate thing, though, is because I think part of why religion spread, I mean, the number one reason why religion spread is that religious people have kids.
Colonize.
Yeah,
Well,
and they
there's
also do that.
There's no colonizing.
Well, it's like, but like the main way that they develop now is that people in religious community, like more Christians are made by Christians having kids.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
having their kids be Christians.
Yes.
And so I feel like if you have a kind of, you'd have to develop the Church of Neo via that, and not via like the way the other way people get it, which is like, hey man, we've got it figured out. You need to get on board.
Yeah, it
Because they don't do that, because the whole point is not bothering other people, which is
Yeah.
kind of the antithesis of basically every other fucking religion on God's
It's
green
not
earth.
necessarily bothering. It's more like you're not worthy if we have to come get you.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think in regards
Don't
to
hate
that,
from outside of the club, you can't even get in.
I think that in regards to that, this is also like Neo is supposed to be the protector of thieves, right? And so
I see.
any thief, anybody who is a thief would probably naturally gravitate because
Okay.
like this is a society that genuinely believes in the wrath and the protection of, and like some people are probably like, like, you know, like Jean doesn't control the weather or whatever. Like some people are probably like, whatever. right?
Oscar doesn't really care that much about corn.
Yeah, like people are probably kind of dismissive, but at the same time, like this is a society that genuinely believes in like, yes, if you are a thief and you do bad things, if you pray to Neo, she will come bail you out, right?
I am...
Like, maybe it's even like, I don't want to get all misty tinkle woohoo, okay? But like, I can even imagine that there's, you know, this thief who's really drunk one night, okay? And he does a robbery and it goes wrong. And he thinks that he sees Neopolitan
Oh.
coming to save him, but actually he's just like drunk off his ass, right? But he gets away. And so he's like, man, I was in such deep shit, but you know who I saw? It was the Neopolitan goddess, right? Like she came and she saved me with her parasol. Like that, I think, is also kind of how things would Did Neo really save him? Probably not, but maybe somebody else in the church that has a semblance like Emerald made it seem that way. Like, there may also be some trickery, a little trickery in there of, like, the followers of Neo who have a semblance similar to Neo manifesting Neo for other people to see to freak them out a little bit and, like, to
I love the
convince them.
prankster nature of this religion.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. I'm down. I like this.
Good.
Yeah,
I think
convinced me.
some people are
gonna start a cult.
Some people, I think, are going to have some thoughts about this.
I think if we have religious fans and viewers,
Yeah.
I think we lost them.
I mean, I don't.
If we had Mormon fans, I think we really lost them.
I don't think we do, though. Right? Like, you know what I mean? Also, this is a religion that exists in the world of Remnant. Are you, like, the Mormons, are they offended the fact that the God of darkness and light exists? I mean, maybe in the RWBY. That's what I mean, though. You know what I mean? Like, in RWBY, there are gods of light and darkness.
The Mormons I met were
just
remarkably
saying,
chill.
like, I'm not saying that this is happening in real life. I'm saying this is happening in the world of Remnant, okay? So, yeah.
Okay.
So I think that's it. All right. Well, okay, guys. You know, be well. Go Neo it up. All right. Start developing your
In
alter
the name of the
egos.
Roman, the trivial, and the Neopolitan.
Oh my God. Anyway.
Amen.
I hope that you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys had fun. Let us know if you have any ideas, by the way. Like if you have
any
anything
converts
to add,
out there?
Anything to add, whatever. And so I hope you guys had fun, and we'll see you later. Bye.